Hello, my name is EDMOND Gilmore. I'm a bass player and I'm a Markbass artist, and I use their wonderful amps and guitars. Well, I started playing bass around the age of 15. Before that, I tried to play guitar for a couple of years. Both of my siblings are guitar players, so I was trying to do what they do, my big brothers. And eventually there was this one night that I went to our junior high school prom, and the DJ was playing this band. I'm from Israel. There's a band here that exists since 1985. Their name is Machina. And the bass player, who is a very close friend of mine today, he's a wonderful bass player, and he was playing those amazing bass parts. And I remember everybody was dancing in the hall, and I was just frozen listening to the bass. I don't play pick, but I just want to demonstrate what he was playing, and I was so captured. And he was playing this bass part. It was kind of a break, and there was the bass part playing this. And I remember I was blown away. And the day after, I went to my brother and I said, look, I want to try to play a bass. Can you help me get a bass? I was just 15. I was kind of broke kid. And he said, okay, I'll see what I can do. And he got me this solid body, weird solid body Hofner bass that had only the D and A strings. And later on, of course, I got some strings and I started playing the bass. And that's it. And after that, I just started listening to whatever I could learn from. Well, my first amp, I'm trying to remember, I think it was some kind of a project amp, some kind of a high school project amp, probably, I don't know. It had no brand, so I don't know where it came from. But it was just like a volume, treble, and bass. And it sounded pretty good, to be honest. It sounded pretty good. That was my very first amp, but the first professional bass amp that I bought was a Marshall, the JCM. I'm talking about those huge refrigerators. I remember, my back remembers. That was a heavy amp, but it sounded killer back then. But I was fortunate enough during my career to try every amp that exists on the market. I tried them all, like Trace Elliot, Ampeg, SWR, Eden, everything, Galen Kruger, everything. I tried them all. So yeah, but the very, very first was a project amp for sure. Well, I was very fortunate throughout my career to collaborate with phenomenal musicians and to do very exciting projects. If I'm going to highlight a few, one of them would have to be the Dancing with the Stars show here in Israel that I did for 7 seasons. It was very challenging and a lot of fun because that was a killer band. And the conductor and the arranger, Elda Trim, who is a phenomenal, really phenomenal musician. We had so much fun there, but then it was also very challenging because in this show, we would play live to TV. There was no room for mistakes, and you had to be on the top of things all the time. But again, like I said, the band was killer. And everybody was playing their ass off. And, they would bring us the music in the morning. We rehearsed throughout the day. And in the evening, after you're super exhausted, you had to play perfect. So that was very challenging. Plus, you had to, face a lot of styles of music that they would, it's a ballroom dancing music. So you had to play cha-cha, and then you had to play rock and roll, and then you had to play, jazz, and you had to play Charleston music and whatnot. Really, I got to play in that show every style of music, and that was very challenging. Also, I had a nice project with a guy named Uri Brenner and Non Bookman. We did a crossover between jazz and classical, that I was playing upright there, and it was very technically challenging because I had to play there like almost like a cello player, but jazz lines. So I remember working very hard on this project. And also there was, I mean, I'm highlighting the one that were like super exciting in my life. Before I moved to New York, I was fortunate enough to be selected to play as a single bass player on Steve Reich's 70th birthday. He came to Israel to celebrate his birthday. Whoever knows him, he's one of the greatest in history. And when he was celebrating his birthday here, we did a big concert playing his music. And it took me almost 2 weeks just to look at the music. I was just looking at the music for 2 weeks because it was so challenging. That music it's not a 4/4 music. Every bar was a different key. So you have to learn to forget that there is a bar line and just read music, you know. And I had 5 music stands. I started reading here and I finished, you know, the piece we were playing here. So I was like with the upright like this, and you had to be really focused because if you would miss one bar, that would be a train wreck. You know, that was a very exciting project as well. That boy, I was really lucky because, you know, being one bass player in this ensemble that they had, like 2 pianos, 2 xylophones, 2 octet of you know, strings players, and it was amazing. Acoustically, I remember that was like a miracle playing in this orchestra. And later on, I played with, you know, when I moved to New York, of course, Mike Stern, that I played until today. We played for almost 10 years. And Mike, of course, pushed me to the next level. And I did with him his record, Trip. I was the pre-producer. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Well, like I said in my other question, that would be Elder Trim, that I did with him a lot of great projects here, not just the Dancing with the Stars show. I did with him musicals and a lot of great stuff. And again, Steve Reich was like crazy, amazing experience. Just to be around this guy was phenomenal. And a great friend of mine who passed away, who was a great mentor, Peter Wertheimer, phenomenal, I can't say saxophone player because he played every instrument, but he got me into jazz, so he took me under his wing. That was I wouldn't call it collaboration because he kind of adopted me, so I would have to mention him. Upon my relocation to New York, I started working with Mike Stern, which is the most significant, I would say, collaboration at that point. Because with Mike, I played with so many great musicians in his band. You know, I played with Randy Brecker, I played with Dennis Chambers, I played with Lionel Curdew, I played with Richie Morales, really legends. We worked with Jim Beard on Mike's album Trip because I was the pre-producer for this album, and I played a couple of tracks on this album. So Will Calhoun, you know, names just jumping through my head. I was really fortunate. And I played with Shane Terrio, who is the guitar player for Hall & Oates. We played his music. We did his band for a while. I played with Kirk Covington from Tribal Tech. Phenomenal musician. Wow. I hope I don't forget anybody because really I played with so many amazing musicians. Bob Malik, you know, Bob Franceschini, really, really a lot of amazing musicians that it keep jumping to my head. Yeah, but I was really fortunate, and I'm keep exposing myself to new musicians, and I'm hopefully will play with many more. I think it was around 2009 that I got into Guitar Center in New York. I came to visit my brother, and was doing my ritual visit to Guitar Center, and I saw this yellow and black colors kind of flashing me to try, and I hook up into this amp. Back then it was, I can't remember the model, but it had a compression and it had like meters on it. I think it was even 2 meters. It was a tube amp, and I remember I plugged the bass and I was blown away because the sound was just beautiful. It was, the mid-range was exactly what I was looking for all my life. And for slap, it was compressed. I like compression in my playing, and it was compressed, and I loved it. It was really, really the day that I said, okay, I got to get this amp. And later on, when I came back to Israel, I went to this store and I bought a couple of amps. I bought the Classic 300, and there was another amp back then. I think it was the SD, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was 2009 when I first time got exposed to the amps. I use a few amps actually. I still have my old Classic 300 at home, and my multi-amp, which is a discontinued model, I think. Anyway, I use today the Marcus Miller 800 watts as a backup amp, and I use this new one. It's the Goldline 1000. It's a phenomenal amp. It's a monster. It has a lot of volume and beautiful sound. And I use a 410. I'll show you here. I use a 410, and I love this cabinet. It's the best there is on the market. And I get any tone I want from this amp. If I want to get like a jazz tone, like I love this warm tone. And if I want to get like a slap tone, I would go like just like that or something, Just a monster tone, I use this preamp. That's an amazing preamp. That's also the Goldline. I think it's kind of a version of this amp, if I'm not mistaken, I hope. It's great. It's just great. You can take it on the road and you can practice with it because you have room here for headphones. You have auxiliary in if you want to hook up your iPhone and just practice. And it has everything, the same features I have on this amp. So I love it. And it's also digital. It's a great amp. A preamp. Lastly, I'm using this amazing bass. This is the Richard Bono model, the Kilimanjaro. Like you heard, I played everything on it. I played jazz, I played slap on it. I know it's kind of not a traditional shape, but it just sits perfect. You see, I'm sitting on it. There's no neck dive, nothing. I'm just sitting with it like that, and it's great to like, the neck is phenomenal. Pickups are sounding great. The hardware is top notch. The work is just unbelievable. Really, really nice bass. I know it's not super cheap, but there's like a cheaper models But I have this one. I have another 5-string that I use only for studio because I'm a 4-string guy. So yeah, I'm all covered when it comes to basses and amps from Markbass. They really take care of everything. Well, to me, the most important thing is relationship. You know, when you work with somebody, you have to have a healthy relationship in order to grow together. If you look at the Markbass history, they had many models of amps. They change stuff all the time to make us sound better. So in the professional aspect, they take care of us all the time with a lot of respect and listen to us. And that's super important. In the personal level, I couldn't ask for more. I mean, these guys, we're friends. You know, we call each other from time to time. You know, we even cried on each other's shoulder on some unpleasant events in the past of some friends. And you feel like you're among a family. You know, it's not just amps and it's not just great guitars. You can get it in other places. But if you get that mix of both wonderful products, amazing people, then that's a winning horse right there. So thank you, Markbass family. I want to include everybody there because really it's amazing to be part of you guys. So thank you very much.